A hot holiday for millions across the United States. The problem the heat is causing across the region today. That's today at 5. And rescue efforts continue today in Thailand as crews work around the clock to free a trapped youth soccer team. And the woman is feeling this 4th of July thanks to a fun holiday tradition.
This is News 3 at 5.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Happy 4th of July. More than 103 million Americans are under heat alerts this 4th of July holiday. Many cities stretching from the Midwest to the Northeast are experiencing high temperatures in the 90s. It'll feel like triple digits in places like Kentucky, South Carolina, and Virginia. In Minneapolis, runners took part in a special 5K. The event was supposed to be a half marathon, but organizers shortened it because of the heat and humidity. And runners in New York City made sure to take frequent breaks today.
You're running in this insane heat. How are you feeling?
Not very good. It's suffocating. It's difficult to breathe. It's difficult to get your breath. I mean, it feels like you're being smothered by a blanket of hot water.
At least 3 deaths, 2 in New York and 1 in Pennsylvania, are being blamed on the extreme heat. And north of the border, heat warnings are underway for all of southern Ontario. This is the most intense heat event in years for the province. Quebec and Montreal are also dealing with the heat. Canadian officials say more than a dozen people have died as a result of the heat. Let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti in the Weather Center. A hot holiday.
It has been, Mark, and it's not over yet. An alert day is in place because of the high heat. In fact, heat advisories remain in effect until 8 p.m. for all of southern Wisconsin. Now, as we take a look at the alert day, it continues for tonight for temperatures that even this evening will remain well into the 80s. Heat index values will be at or above 90 degrees for much of the evening. There also is a chance for some thunderstorms that could interfere with some of the fireworks displays. Now, you can see a line of showers and thunderstorms out to the west of southern Wisconsin with a few more storms popping up to the east of Madison. The latest computer model forecasts indicate most of this activity will start to die down as we get into the latter part of the evening. But again, it could be touch and go with some of the fireworks displays around the area. Temperatures right now range from the lower 70s, where the storms have already gone through the La Crosse area, to 90 to 95 across much of the rest of southern Wisconsin away from Lake Michigan. And look at those dew point temperatures, low to mid 70s. You factor the two together, it feels like 96 in Madison, 102 in Lone Rock, 103 in Boscobel. And as we check out our 4th of July fireworks forecast, expect the possibility for some scattered showers and thunderstorms at least through the evening hours. Temperatures will only fall into the upper 70s right after the fireworks displays by about 11 p.m. By tomorrow morning, we'll be down into the mid 70s. Could see a shower or thunderstorm chance tomorrow afternoon. It'll be one more warm and humid day with high temperatures in the mid 80s. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. 4th of July parade today marks a chance for a local woman with a cancer diagnosis to check something off her bucket list. Rose Schmidt brings us her story from Evansville.
Last year, Evansville put up signs during the parade saying, "We love Sally." But this year, they decided to do something that was a little different. The parade was filled with fire engines, tractors, and lots of people ready to grab candy. But all eyes were on Sally Reesum, the parade's grand marshal. She rode on a float called the Wagon of Hope. Sally has been treated for the last 2.5 years at the UW Carbone Cancer Center. Doctors originally told her she had a short time to live, but she's pulled through, getting new treatments and defying the odds. And throwing candy in the Independence Day parade tops her bucket list.
It's the only time you can get together and everybody's happy, everybody's joyful. It's relaxing. It's not like a big turkey dinner you have to do for Thanksgiving or presents. The 4th of July is a layback time.
Sally is a longtime 4-H leader who's lived in the Evansville community for most of her life. On the wagon, she was surrounded by family and friends who share her love of antique tractors. Up next on Sally's bucket list, quilting and spending time with people she loves. In Evansville, I'm Rose Schmidt for WISC News 3.
And doctors are looking at the genetics of Sally's cancer and trying to figure out why her case is different. Through that, they've identified other potential ways to treat her cancer. Well, kids from Mount Horeb got to celebrate a special bond with local firefighters today. It's part of the annual Kitty Parade the community holds. The fire department started the parade as a way to connect with kids in their community. Kids get to show off their decorated bikes and tour the fire station. One man who now serves on the department recalled his first time participating in the parade.
Just remember decorating my bike, and my dad was on the fire department, and he had a call on the 4th early morning, and I was all eager to go, and I didn't really know Mount Horeb at the time, so I'm like, well, it can't be that hard. I'll find the fire station. So I got on my bike and all decorated and headed up here and went to the parade, and he came back and met me after the call.
This is the last year that the fire station will be on 1st and Front Street. Mount Horeb is building a new one, and it should be done before the 4th of July next year. And the hopes are that the parade will be at that location in 2019. The Madison Mallards are remembering service members this 4th of July. Today is Military Appreciation Day at the ballpark. The Mallards held a special service to honor current and past military members before the first pitch at today's game. A giant flag was also used during the singing of God Bless America and the national anthem. The general manager of the Mallards says the team loves finding ways to honor service members.
You know, the 4th is obviously, the history of our country, and it kind of starts with veterans. And here at the ballpark, we kind of love supporting them and giving them recognition where it's certainly due.
Military members also received discounted prices on tickets for today's game against Battle Creek. The Dane County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of an inmate. Police say the 29-year-old was found in medical distress early this morning. The medical examiner says the death does not appear to be suspicious. The man was arrested for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated for the 4th offense and a probation violation. A driver involved in a crash on Madison's east side was arrested after he initially told police he was an uninvolved jogger. Officers were called to the intersection of South Stoughton and Cottage Grove Road last night. Police say a 19-year-old man tried to make a lane change at the same time as another car. The teen overcorrected to avoid the other car and hit the shoulder, causing the car to flip over. The teen then ran away, took off some of his clothing, and told police he was out on a jog. Police say the teen was not impaired, but faces charges for failure to have control and to hit and run. He suffered minor scrapes in the crash. It's an A for effort, though, right? The 12 boys trapped in a cave in Thailand are getting stronger as rescuers contemplate ways to get them out safely. CBS's Ben Tracy has more from outside the cave.
One by one, the boys wrapped in foil warming blankets took turns introducing themselves and delivering a message to their parents that they're in good health. Some of them smiled and held up peace signs as a medic treated scratches on their feet and legs.
How many of you?
The boys appeared more alert than a day ago
You are very strong.
when British divers discovered them on a muddy ledge. The complicated task of how they will all be safely rescued from the cave remains unclear. This morning, Chiang Rai's governor suggested that the team might not all be able to leave at the same time. Rescue crews are weighing the option of having the boys swim out immediately, but that remains the riskiest choice. The team is trapped about 2.5 miles from the entrance to the cave. To get out, they would need to navigate through areas that require full climbing gear, several flooded sections, parts too narrow to wear a scuba tank, and a nearly 100-foot underwater dive. It's a difficult task for even the most experienced divers, let alone a group of boys who don't know how to swim.
So the plan for now is this. They are trying to furiously pump as much water out of this cave as possible. The hope is if they bring the water level down far enough, it'll be more safe for the kids to either try to swim out, or better yet, they could wade or walk out.
In the meantime, a phone line is being installed inside the cave so the young soccer players can finally talk to their parents. The mother of a trapped 16-year-old said it feels like her son has been given a new life.
This has become a race against time and the weather. Monsoon rains are expected to return this weekend, and they are worried that the cave could flood again. So they have actually found 2 places where rain was entering the cave, and they've blocked those up. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Chiang Rai, Thailand.
Well, a fire at a fireworks warehouse in India is under investigation. 11 people died in the fire, 5 others in the hospital. Firefighters say bodies are charred beyond recognition. The fire caused explosions in the warehouse. India has a huge demand for fireworks, which are used in religious festivals and weddings there. There are fatal accidents nearly every year as people work in makeshift factories that lack proper safety standards. Evacuations underway on Liberty Island, which houses the Statue of Liberty in New York City Harbor. A woman started climbing the base of the statue as part of a protest. The woman was holding a T-shirt that said "Rise and Resist" and "Trump Care Makes Us Sick." An Abolish ICE banner was also released by protesters at the base of the statue. Ferries were brought in to help usher more than 3,000 visitors off Liberty Island. Heavy rains that flooded some Houston streets today expected to subside. Today's rain led to 1 to 2 feet of water collecting on some roads in West Houston. Meteorologists say flooding is typical for Houston and won't come close to the devastating floods caused last year by Hurricane Harvey. The rain did cause the city to call off its 4th of July concert and festival, but the fireworks are still on for tonight. Well, there's more to come at 5. Concerns from the military about young adults and some of its new recruits. And Coney Island is calling. Highlights from this year's hot dog eating contest. That's coming up later on News 3 at 5. Well, a growing number of young adults are physically unfit to serve in the nation's military. 1 out of 3 Americans between 17 and 24 don't qualify for military services, shrinking the recruitment pool for the United States' top defense agencies. Moa Langi reports from Washington.
1 out of every 3 young adults is overweight or obese in the U.S. It's a health epidemic that's now affecting the U.S. military.
Since the military tends to recruit from that population, specifically the 17 to 24-year-olds, it's starting to impact our recruitment pool.
Talk about
Retired Lieutenant General Thomas Spohr insists while America's obesity problem is not as drastic among U.S. troops, it is still weighing them down.
The percent of overweight soldiers, service members, about 8 to 10% typically, and that's a problem for the military.
A national security problem, according to Speer.
Does this make us less safe? Does it make the military less ready?
It does. This is part of a trend that if it continues, we will be unable to recruit the number of people we need for our military.
The Army recently deployed a new exam called the Occupational Physical Assessment Test, or OPAT. It's administered before a recruit ships out to basic training and measures their physical fitness.
We had a significant increase in musculoskeletal injuries in folks that weren't able to actually execute some of the physical demands of certain types of professions.
The OPAT is in addition to the Army's minimum physical standards.
We require the American military to be fit. It's one of the qualities that we value, and it's one of the things that makes us different from the other militaries in the world. You know, we could talk about lowering the standards, but we wouldn't like the military that would emerge from lowered standards.
But they acknowledge more needs to be done to combat the problem.
This is a reflection of American society as a whole, and so it's something we're going to have to deal with.
From better overall nutrition to increased focus on physical and health education in schools and greater community awareness and involvement, Army Strong starts with healthy recruits. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Washington.
All right, it's time for the weather. Garrett Cadalti's in the backyard. You have to be strong of heart to do with this weather, that's for sure.
You're right about that, boy. It is steamy out here, but there are some thunderstorms that are breaking the heat for some of our viewers. Let's start out by taking a look at the alert day that remains in place for tonight for temperatures this evening that will remain in the 80s with heat index values at or above 90, and there will be a chance of thunderstorms. Heat advisories remain in effect until 8 p.m. for all of southern Wisconsin. But as we take a look at temperatures, you'll notice some differences. While we're at 90 in Madison, 92 in Lone Rock, 91 at the Baraboo Dells Airport, it's only in the low 70s out toward La Crosse, and temperatures are in the 80s to even upper 70s in parts of Dodge County by Juneau, and that's because there are some showers and thunderstorms. You figure out the effects of the humidity with the temperature. We're seeing heat index readings at or above 100 in several locations, including Milwaukee, Boscobel, Mineral Point, and Lone Rock, and here in Madison it feels like 96. Now we will see some scattered thunderstorms this evening as we head toward the 4th of July fireworks displays. Some of those may have to be delayed, at least for a little while, as the storms move on through. Temperatures eventually will drop into the upper 70s, but you can see two areas of thunderstorms, one developing east of Madison, another out to the west, and we're kind of in between, at least here across much of Dane County, although the eastern parts of the county are getting some showers and thunderstorms. Those storms out to the west extend into parts of Iowa and northwestern Wisconsin. So far, no severe weather out of those, although the Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms out toward the La Crosse area and a marginal risk north and west of Madison. I think the severe weather threat will be higher farther out to the west into parts of Iowa. Otherwise, live view from the Quebe Radio Skycam in Platteville, that's looking toward the east. Looks pretty calm there, but to the west, you can see clouds already building. That's the WISC Skycam showing the thunderstorms out to the west of Dane County, and the Edgewater Skycam looking to the southeast toward the capital. Again, seeing those thunderstorms over the eastern portion of Dane County. High so far today in Madison, 91, the low temperature at 70, and right now we're sitting at 90 degrees. Southwesterly winds at 7, and the heat index is at 96 with dew point temperatures in the lower 70s. Temperatures where the storms have gone through have cooled off into the 70s elsewhere, generally 80s to around 90, and the humidity levels remain high through much of the Midwest. The cold front still back in western Minnesota. Once that comes through late tomorrow afternoon, that will start to give us a little more significant relief from the heat. But right now we're looking at heat index values in the 90s to triple digits over parts of southern Wisconsin. These showers and thunderstorms are actually out ahead of the main cold front, which is lagging back to the west into parts of Minnesota. So these storms developed overnight, moved eastward. They should start weakening as they push through southern Wisconsin because the atmosphere is just so warm in the upper levels that it'll start to diminish the thunderstorms. But more storms may form along that cold front tomorrow as it pushes through southern Wisconsin. And notice behind the cold front, those temperatures drop into the 70s through the Dakotas. So as we look at future track, expect the showers and storms overnight, a possibility, and then late tomorrow afternoon as the cold front comes through, and after after that, look for a break in the heat and humidity. Again, a heat advisory in effect until 8 p.m. for all of southern Wisconsin. Look for a low of 73. Some chances for showers and thunderstorms, otherwise very muggy. Tomorrow's high temperature at 85. I think much of the day may be dry. We'll see a couple of thunderstorms form in the mid to late afternoon hours right along that cold front before the winds shift around to the north. And as you take a look at future track, you can see what's happening this evening. The shower and thunderstorm chances moving out pretty quickly after about maybe 9 or 10 o'clock. Then just a chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight. A quick chance tomorrow afternoon as that cold front comes through, but notice the wind shifting around to the north. And behind it, we clear out for tomorrow night. Those temperatures drop into the upper 50s by early on Friday morning. And on Friday, look for high temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s with plenty of sunshine. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, nice weather expected for the weekend. Highs low 80s for Saturday and mid 80s for Sunday, but with low humidity. It'll feel pretty comfortable. Humidity comes back by Monday and Tuesday. High temperatures back in the upper 80s. Heat index values 90 to 95 Monday and Tuesday, and mid to upper 90s for Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, with high temperatures right around 90 and a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Saturday, another break in the heat and humidity. Temperatures drop back into the lower 80s. As we take a quick look at first alert traffic, it is a holiday. Things pretty quiet. There's the Beltline view at Rimrock Road. You can see traffic very light in both directions. No problems through most of the major highways in and around Dane County. Traffic times right now about 15 minutes in either direction from University Avenue to the interstate and on the Beltline, and then heading out of Madison, 28 minutes down to Janesville from the Beltline on I-3990, and 16 minutes out to Sauk City on Highway 12 and out to Sun Prairie on Highway 151. That is your first alert traffic.
So the fireworks this evening, it could be touch and go depending where you are.
Right. You can see where those thunderstorms are, but there are other places that aren't getting any rain at all. Here is one of them, but again, that will change over the next few hours.
And another 24 hours and then some relief.
Much anticipated relief, let's put it that way.
Why don't you come on in, dry off, Gary.
All right, thanks.
It is a holiday tradition like no other. We're taking you to Coney Island after the break for the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Highlights, if you can call them that, from the competition next at 5. A 4th of July tradition returned to New York's Coney Island. Nathan's hot dog eating contest drew giant crowds as the champions faced a new round of challengers. John Schumo is there.
Joey Chestnut!
Longtime champion Joey Chestnut defended his title at Coney Island's stomach-churning 4th of July tradition. And the crowd at Nathan's hot dog eating contest was on his side.
Joey Chestnut is
Joey
obviously
Chestnut is probably one of the MVPs around here. He's one of the best. So
I would almost consider him a member of my family.
Sarah and Ava Levitsky did not go home disappointed.
The legend continues.
Chestnut outdid 20 challengers and broke his own record, downing 74 dogs in 10 minutes to take home his 11th mustard belt. The blistering heat didn't discourage the crowds. Some spectators traveled from around the country to check this event off their bucket list.
It's been a lifelong dream to come to the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, and it's fulfilled today.
Charles Gottlieb came from Missouri. Did you come from St. Louis, Missouri just for this?
Yeah, my son wanted to see it. He's always wanted to see it for 20 years.
In the women's competition, a mother and daughter competed for the first time.
There's the mom-daughter team.
But it was Mickey Sudo who took the prize with 37 hot dogs, her 5th straight title.
A 5-time champion at Nathan.
Sudo and Chestnut are top dogs once again. John Schumo, CBS News, Coney Island, New York.
Well, there goes dinner. Winners take home a $10,000 prize. The judges initially had miscounted Chestnut's total hot dogs, but a recount showed he did indeed eat 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Well, if you're out grilling hot dogs this evening, you'll want to make sure to have the right protection from mosquitoes. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends EPA-approved insect repellents containing DEET, picaridin, IR3535, oil of lemon eucalyptus, or 2-undercannon. Most of these repellents are safe for use in children and in pregnant women. Doctors say you should see them right away if you get sick after being bit. And be careful to avoid scratching because it'll only make the bite itch more. And we'll be able to see the fireworks this evening. Gary's got the answer during our final check of the holiday forecast.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, the heat wave turns deadly and there's dangerous flooding in Texas. Pilot shortages could lead to canceled flights and service to some cities, as well as higher ticket prices. And on this 4th of July, children of our fallen service members are helping others through their grief. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And finally at 5, it's a yearly tradition in East Moline, Illinois, as an assortment of characters race for the gold. Today was the city's annual hospital bed race. Some of those participating in the race include teams of pirates, Elvis impersonators, even a panda. In the end, it was the Noble Five, a family of runners that took home the gold. The team says it plans on defending its title next year. Looks like a lot of fun.
Hopefully it won't be as hot next year.
Yeah, hopefully
not. It's steamy this year. In fact, we still have a heat advisory in effect until 8 p.m. for all of southern Wisconsin. Here are current temperatures, 90 in Madison, but you can see it's cooler out to the west where the showers and storms have already come through, but the areas that haven't had the relief yet from the storms, heat index values are in the mid-90s to around 100. You can see storms east of Madison and then also some storms to the west. But as we take a look at future Doppler track over the next 3 hours, a diminishing trend is starting to show up. So hopefully that'll allow some of the fireworks displays to get in. After one more day of warm and humid weather tomorrow with highs in the mid-80s and a chance for an afternoon thunderstorm, we break the humidity for the weekend with temperatures in the low 80s, but warm back up for much of next week.
It is July.
It is.
All right. Thanks, Gary. Thanks for watching. Happy 4th of July, everyone. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.